illustrating the terrifying costs of midday drowsiness and fatigue, with consumers saying that when it comes to extra alertness in the mid-afternoon, they are willing to pay any price.
As the wife of a 5-hour energy drinker, we've had to sacrifice a lot in the name of long-lasting bursts of energy that carry you out of the workday and into the evening. We knew the risks going in.
Argava says his company has no plans to stop until the 2:30 feeling is completely wiped off the map, at which point they will turn their attention to that 3:30 feeling, 4:30 feeling, and people with a case of the Mondays.
This is the Onion News Network.
The Call to Freedom is an opinion show. It's meant for informational purposes only. It is not licensed financial advice. It is very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with or independently research and verify any information that you hear from the Call of Freedom and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. I mean, come on, guys. Duh. It's a cryptocurrency investment and a political talk radio. Of course, it's opinions.
Computers are online. I'm gonna start loading software.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Call to Freedom.
Broadcasting live from Vertcoin Studios on LRN FM.
You're listening to Will.
You will listen to every damn word I have to say!
And Aria.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Stay tuned for political talk and everything crypto. That's right.
Broadcasting internationally on our BitPlus network satellite.
This is
The Call to Freedom.
All right, let's boot it up.
Welcome here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. It is a Friday afternoon. We are broadcasting live from our Horizon.Global studios. And it is a beautiful Friday afternoon broadcasting from here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. Nice day, around 80 degrees. Couldn't ask for better weather. And you know what? It's me today, all by myself. Aria will be here a little bit later, as will Rolf from Horizon.Global. Again, Horizon.Global used to be formerly known as Zencash. Rebranded as Horizon.Global. We'll have someone coming in to give us a little bit more detail about this rebranding effort that's going on at Zencash, now Horizon.Global. And let's see what else. It's Friday afternoon. Finally Friday afternoon. That means we will also be doing a little bit of libertarian drama in a third hour. Now, I know you guys think I'm a bit of a weirdo sometimes with some of the different things that I am into. One of the things that I'm particularly into is Sufi music. That's correct. One of the ways that I found my religious tradition was through hearing Sufi music before I accepted Islam. It was something that I was interested in. So I started looking into it, and it was awesome. I loved it. It was just something that really spoke to me. And most people don't realize there's multiple Sufi music traditions. There's some that has only drums, some that have drums and other instruments, some that only use voices. So there's a number of different types of Sufi music. We're actually going to be, earlier this week we had a discussion of Jalaluddin Muhammad al-Rum, who was one of the fathers of the Sufi tradition, reed flute tradition. We're also looking for a Qawwali expert who could come in, hopefully even play some of their music live on the air, which is we're going to be doing some of that today for the first hour. And we have an author coming on next week to discuss a book about Rabia al-Adawiyya, or also known as Rabia al-Basri, or al-Basra. She's known as the first Sufi saint. She was a poet, a female, very strong voice, an ascetic, and one of the first Sufi poets. And she wrote love poetry that easily stood up to the likes of, Rumi, who came hundreds of years later. And she was a student of Al-Hasan al-Basri. And Al-Hasan al-Basri was the scholar who lived at the time of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. Now, Basri, as far as my learning, when I think of Al-Hasan al-Basri, the first thing I think of is in the time of Abdul Aziz, Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. He was one of the final leaders of the first Umayyad dynasty, which was the political empire leadership, political leadership that took over after the murder of Ali ibn Abu Talib, the son-in-law of Muhammad, and the subsequent murder of his children and grandchildren, the Muawiyah, the son of Abu Sufyan, who was this particular family was they were the greatest enemies of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam before the taking of Mecca. When the traditions talk about those enemies of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he showed mercy on and allowed them, he didn't do like what was expected, which was to go in and just sack the city and kill everyone, which is what was normal at the time. He went in instead and granted sanctuary, even to Abu Sufyan and his wife being the one who hired a slave to murder Hamza, the son of Abu Talib and the cousin of Muhammad, and great, like very close friend. They were like brothers. They grew up together. And then she went and literally ate his liver on the battlefield. Like, it was just an insane, like, insult, I guess you would say, to Hamza. That family is the family that eventually took back over the region. They were the family that was in power before that. And then once the Arabs were united, they took power of the region back by murdering off all of the lineage of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then moving forward with the Umayyad dynasty. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz was one of the final of those. He was the one who said, you know what, the guys who came before me did it wrong. They focused on power, and I want to focus on religion. And Al-Hasan al-Basri was the religious scholar who he turned to for things like, he asked the question, he says, he writes a letter, he says, why is it that the Prophet and the Rashidun, which were those first four leaders after Muhammad died, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, why did they leave the non-Muslims doing these things that are forbidden by Islam? And he specifically mentions marrying close relatives, because at the time Christians would marry, particularly among the royal and noble families, they would marry brothers and sisters to each other, drinking, and raising and eating pigs. And Basri responded, this is the law and you won't change it to something that you prefer, that they have their rights. And this is what those rights are, and the Prophet left it this way on purpose, and so you don't get to change it just because you don't like the way things are. So that advocacy of pluralist tolerance as a central component of the religion is what I think of when I think about Hasan al-Basri. And he was the teacher of this Rabia al-Adawiyya, who we will be talking about on Monday. We will have Dr. Melania Rubiak, who translated a work of Raymond, I believe it's Raymond Badawi, into English. And while I'm reading it right now, I feel that she's kind of added a little of her own personal political opinions in, but I'm sure we'll talk about that when we get there. Now, today, since it's just me and, I hate having to talk to myself, basically, because that's what it kind of feels like when you're a single guy on the mic, we are going to do something a little different. I'm going to introduce you to tons of different styles of Sufi music over the course of the next hour while we wait for the crypto hour to show up. And I want you to, take it in, enjoy. We'll We'll be hearing stuff from Turkey. We'll be hearing stuff from Pakistan, stuff from the Indian subcontinent, stuff from Syria, stuff from Indonesia. One of my personal favorites. When we get back here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. So it'll be a little bit different today, but stick around. You just might enjoy it.
Day long while ago, I walked down the road, stood in a town.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
NASA announced the discovery of a mile-wide asteroid this week that could potentially trigger a global level of extinction, forcing upscale fashion retailer Nordstrom out of business. Researchers confirm that the celestial object is traveling at speeds exceeding 29,000 miles per hour, threatening to slam into the planet with more than 1 million megatons of force, enough to jeopardize operations at all 117 full-line Nordstrom locations.
Unless we can find some way to divert or intercept the asteroid, all 7 billion people on Earth, including all 62,500 Nordstrom employees, may die. Even if the asteroid breaks into smaller pieces upon entering to the atmosphere, a death toll as low as several hundred million could still slow foot traffic in stores and reduce online orders from Nordstrom's subsidiary Hot Look.
Humanity is surprised it still hasn't figured out an alternative to letting power-hungry assholes decide everything, and a magical office worker is able to turn everything he touches into more work for his colleagues.
This is the Onion News Network.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
The 3 most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your favorite organizations, but make sure you give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. Unasikiliza wito wa uhuru katika LRN.FM.
مولاي صل وسلم دائما
دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم محمد سيد الكونين والثقلين محمد سيد.
All right, welcome back into the Cult of Freedom here on LRN.FM. We are broadcasting live from our Horizon.global studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. It's a really beautiful, beautiful day outside. If we didn't have Horizon.global in here today, I'm telling you what. So, now I did finally go to the hospital yesterday and got to see a specialist for the problems that I've been having. It turns out I'm not all better, but I'm all better, if that makes any sense. They gave me a type of muscle relaxant for 6 weeks, and once that's done with, I should be tip-top shape. Alhamdulillah. So that's finally all over and done with. Now, I know that Aria is somewhere around here. She's back from, she went to officially file for sheriff. So she's going to be running for sheriff. So that's pretty cool. So anyway, well, what we were listening to when we first came back, that's part of the Qasida Burda Sharif. Now, this is easily one of the most famous songs of the nasheed, or Sufi poetry set to music. It's got to be one of the most famous. There's a book, there's a time of year that it's done. If you go and look up Qasida, it's K-A, Qasida Burda, on YouTube. You can find tons and tons. You get people reciting it in every language under the sun. People singing it on pretty much every continent, quite often during the time of the Mawlid, which is coming up actually, and not too long from now. We're thinking about trying to put some kind of a Burda Sharif together here, maybe downtown in the square, if we can pull it off, depending on how cold and what the weather is like. But that's the Mawlaya Salli is what it's called, which basically means peace to the master. Did Aria get lost? Oh, she's 15 cent suicide. They're like 15 cents a piece by now, right? For cigarettes. Oh, goodness gracious. So anyway, we, as I was saying before, we're going to have Melania Rabiek. She's an Italian, actually, from northern Italy. Grew up in northern Italy, went to school in Germany. Moved to Tunisia, learned Arabic, became a translator, and learned about the topic of the book Rabi'a al-Adawiyya, or Rabi'a al-Basra, and her life and poetry and music. She was a traveling musician hundreds of years before the minstrel period in Europe. As a guitar and flute player and love poet, but her love poetry, much like Rumi's, had a secular sound with a divine target. So the poetry could very easily be recited, thrown in a Hallmark card. Like, you literally see Rumi's poetry and love cards from Hallmark, because they're not, because it was written in the 1200s. It makes it public domain, so you don't have to pay anything to put some of the best poetry ever written by a human being into a card. So, how you doing there, Aria?
I'm doing great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, where you been?
I have been in Concord.
What are you doing in Concord?
Filling out the necessary paperwork to make my campaign for Sheriff of Cheshire County official.
Wow.
And it is official.
Very cool.
Oh, it's gonna be loads of fun.
Right.
It's gonna be more fun than a barrel full of monkeys, which is not a racist comment because there's a toy called Barrel Full of Monkeys.
Yeah, I remember that toy.
Yeah, it was a crappy toy.
It was.
But I had one and I liked it when I was a kid, so.
Right. See here, let me turn that. You fix that, if you don't mind. I didn't turn it on because you weren't here, so now that you're here, let me bam, there we go. It's on. So, and back we go. So, since I didn't expect you here until time for Horizon.Global, I've been gilding the lily. I was just going to play music the whole time.
Wow.
Yeah. Stuff that they can't copyright, that we're going to have some folks from these different traditions coming on the show in the next few weeks. So I thought, why not play a little of the stuff that they're known for? So, this one here is Tare Ishq. Now, Ishq is it comes from the word comes from a vine.
Okay.
That what it does is it overtakes the tree and strangles it to death,
like kudzu,
and becomes the tree. Yeah. Okay. That is the word in Arabic for that all-encompassing, that like the love that makes you sick at your stomach. Ishq. Because you have muhabba, which is like a reverent love, which is just love and a reverence. And then you have ishq, which is like that, like I'm stupid, I can't sleep, the like.
So I mean, it's kind of like Greek with, or not Greek, Latin with eros, philia, and whatever the other one is.
Agape.
I can't think of. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually Greek, but yeah, you're right.
Oh, it was Greek?
It is Greek, yeah.
I thought it was, but once I started saying, I was like, no, that's not Greek.
Yeah, it's Greek. Yeah, it is Greek.
Very cool. Well, that's one thing I don't like about the English language, is it just has the one word for love, and you essentially say exactly the same thing to, family that you say to the person you're boning. And
yeah, right.
It's weird.
Right. Well, because they have this whole like for them, ishq is like in the poem Layla and the Majnun, which basically just means the insanity that's created by this love for Layla that this man has. Majnun means to be like possessed. Okay. I'm possessed by Layla, and there's a line that's like, do you not see me weep just to kiss the walls, but it's not the walls that I love, but the thing that was once housed within those walls. To kiss the path that once the beloved's feet tread upon.
Hey guys, Mark Claire here, lionsofliberty.com, where we strive to advance the ideas of liberty daily. We bring you the Morning Roar. That's right, every Monday to Friday we'll have a brand new edition of the Morning Roar, where we provide a roundup of some news stories that you may not find in the mainstream media or even in your typical social media newsfeed. We find stories that relate to the ideas of liberty and provide you with our liberty perspective on them. Every Monday, we have our longest-running feature, Mondays with Murray, named after the great libertarian Murray Rothbard, where we'll examine an article or an excerpt from his works and help convey his view, along with our little spin as well. We wrap it all up every Friday with Felony Friday, where our own John Odermatt goes out and takes a look at some sort of felony. There's felonies committed every day, whether it's a felony committed by the police, a politician, or even an average citizen. You can find all of this and so much more over at lionsofliberty.com. Advancing the ideas of liberty daily.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You are listening to The Call to Freedom live on LRN.FM. تستمعون إلى نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
All right, welcome back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We are broadcasting live here from our Horizon.global studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire, and we are about to embark on a journey. You just fight away over there, Aria. That's all you're really going to have to do for the next half hour or so. It's not a big deal.
Well, I did the fighting this morning. I'm actually just sending out looting runs.
Oh, okay.
It just requires pressing a button 200 and something times.
Oh, okay. Well,
no attention required for it.
Oh, right on, right on. So, you work tonight?
I do not. And I'm so glad for that.
Oh, yeah, we got to find something to do then. Ocean's 8 is out. There we go.
I'm probably going to be asleep. I was up all night.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't go to sleep till about 6:30.
Let's play some Magic. Let's play some Magic duels. Anyway, so we are going to start. Let's see here. Well, right now, I have a big, thick book out in the van on this particular style, which is what introduced me to this type of music. It's called Qawwali. Now, it's a tradition that comes out of the Indian subcontinent, mostly in Pakistan now. But the most popular recent practitioners of Qawwali, Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, has been on the BBC multiple times throughout the 80s before he died. I mean, like, his music was popular enough that BBC brought him to England with his whole entourage, which is fairly large, of different types of drums and these traditional Indian and Pakistani instruments.
Very cool.
And yeah, he's actually like been on the BBC. The first concert that I saw of him was a concert from the BBC, like probably 3 weeks before he died. So yeah. But let's see here. Are we ready for that? Yes, we are. So let's check it out. This is called Ya Nabi Noor, which means O Prophet of Light. Nabi means prophet. Rasul means messenger. It's a nuance of language.
Right.
And Noor means
well, one
light.
of the interesting things that Thomas Paine did when he wrote The Age of Reason, it was The Age of Reason, was that he demonstrated pretty definitively that the word prophet, as it's used in biblical text, actually has been misunderstood, and it means musician. Because it talks about people prophesying with instruments. It talks about people prophesying well and people prophesying poorly.
Mm-hmm.
And he does this huge analysis of different biblical passages that reference the word prophesy. And it's...
Well, that's what was supposed
in the biblical text. It meant musician, without a doubt.
Well, that's one of the reasons why in the biblical, the Muslims say that the Prophet Muhammad was foretold in the biblical text, is because it talks about him not using any instruments, but only prophesying with his mouth, only speaking the words which are given to him to speak, and that would be his miracle, is that he spoke only that which was said to him. And that was like, well, this is Muhammad, like that's the entire basis of his prophethood, is that he uses no other way than the spoken word. There's no other form of communication, no other way of praise than the spoken word. Even the music originally was only drums and spoken word. But that, as we will hear in just a second,
I've always liked the idea of music and poetry being forms of prayer. I don't like the way that Christians do it, because they've ritualized it, and ritualized it isn't the right word, but they've taken all of the passion, all of the energy out of the music that they make in their churches. I mean, it's a formality for them, and you can tell when they sing "Joy to the World" and things like that they're not happy.
Yeah, it's very drony sounding.
Yeah. And I mean, if this is in a Southern Baptist church, then I can only imagine what it's like elsewhere.
While Pentecostals get out of their chairs.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, that's where I grew up, was Pentecostals, and they get.
And so do a lot of non-white churches.
Yes. They mean it.
Yeah, they do.
They mean it. Which is something that is sorely lacking a lot of times. In all religious traditions, is this like.
Passion.
Yeah, exactly. Like, really, you believe that this thing created the universe, and the best I can get out of you is a,
Yeah. I mean, I've heard kids sing "Joy to the World, the Teacher is Dead" with more gusto and enthusiasm than I've heard Christians sing "Joy to the World, the Lord has come."
I hear my children sing the nasheeds of the prophet with more gusto than I hear them from the grown-ups.
That when I was a little kid attending a night service at our church, the pastor said he wanted to hear everyone shout as we sang "Joy to the World," and I was in that mood. I felt the Spirit.
Yeah,
so
shouted.
I came out shouting, and everybody just turned and looked at me. I was like,
yes.
God, because I had stepped out of line. I had violated the normalcy.
Yeah.
Of the experience.
Yeah. That's why
the normalcy of the experience is what is wrong with you people.
Yes, yes. Well, there's even a prophecy in the Bible that talks about churches that the Spirit has simply left, that they have a form of godliness, but the angels have come and written, the Spirit of God does not dwell here, across the doorways, and they're just there as like and that's what many, not all, I get it, in mosques as well. They've just become these places where we come together for a cultural celebration on a weekly basis, but there's really no spiritual, and that's...
I mean, this church did try. Like one day the sound system started making this horrible buzzing noise, and so the pastor was like, I want all the men to start praying because the devil has come into the church. I'm like, or you could just call the sound guy to come fix that.
Yeah, right. Just turn the gain down a little. It'll go away.
But I guess A+ for trying, At least you tried making this hocus pocus tomfoolery devilish nonsense that you're talking about real.
Right.
Because, I mean, if the devil was going to come into, if the devil could come into the church, I don't know what the theistic ruling would be on that, but if the devil comes to the church, you'd think he'd find a better way to disrupt the service than to make a speaker buzz.
Right.
So how about dropping that chandelier?
Oh, goodness gracious.
That ought to do the trick.
So this is from Syria, and it's a little more low-key since we're about to be going out to commercials. So it's the story of Medina is what it's called.
Medina the city?
Yes. And it's done in English.
Nice.
Yes.
So I'll understand it.
Yes, that's right. It's from a group called
possibly
The Travelers. Enjoy.
إلى شرف النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم الفاتحة. جينا المدينة لنزرنا بينا.
This isn't the English version, my bad.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
You can't win if you don't enter, and you actually can improve your chances of winning a prize drawing if you wrinkle up your entry blank. I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com, and I speak from experience. Why this works: if they'll be spinning the drum before drawing, your entry blank will move around more than, and not adhere to, other perfectly flat entry blanks. And if they don't spin the drum and merely reach into a box full of other perfectly flat entry blanks, many of which are sticking together, yours will feel different to the person reaching in. When you win, act surprised. And if you're looking for work, this is a metaphor. For more tips on sticking out in a world where just too much blends into the blah, 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 hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live.
You guys catch my State of the Union address the other night?
That was very nice.
Hey, this is George Bush?
I'm afraid so, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, it's fantastic to have you listening to the show.
I wanted to run some new ideas I had past you guys.
Okay, cool. We'll be your sounding board there, Prez.
Ice Cream Day.
I love Ice Cream Day. It's awesome. We should have Ice Cream Month and different flavors, just like Baskin Robbins.
Every Friday, Americans get free ice cream.
Now, I don't know about that. Now, wait a minute.
From where, George? Ice Cream Angel's going to bring it down?
Yeah. What about this one, guys? Everybody gets a pony in America.
It's very Texan. Presidents have a habit of just getting up and saying what sounds good, and then you don't do anything about it. I mean, really, you're not going to do anything. We all know that.
Well, most presidents don't do some of the things they promise. I promise not to do all of those things.
Awesome.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Angel Clark, and you're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.fm.
يا حبيبي يا محمد يا حبيبي يا محمد يا حبيبي يا محمد والصلاة على محمد وعلى آل محمد Senhor, faz tua sala sobre y faz-nos amar con él. Sácalos sin su tropel. Just la seña de Muhammad. Just la seña de Muhammad. Ya Habibi, ya Muhammad. Ya Habibi, ya Muhammad. Ya Habibi, ya Muhammad. As-salatu ala Muhammad.
All right. So this that we're listening here, this is called the Al-Firdaus, which means heaven. Firdaus is another word for heaven. But the Al-Firdaus Ensemble, and they're Irish.
They do not sound Irish.
No, they don't, but they are. This is an Irish ensemble, and the song that they're singing here and the music that's going with it is said to have been found in the early 1835. Someone purchased a home, an old house, and when they tore it down, there was a box that was found in the walls, and inside of it was the sheet music and the words to this song. And they'd been it was the name of this is Mother Morisco. And the Moriscos, for those of you who are history buffs, were the Muslims who were in Spain that were driven out by the Inquisition. I mean, that was the purpose of the Inquisition, was to drive out the Jews and the Muslims who had remained in Spain after the Catholic Church and Ferdinand and Isabella retook the country. Because the country had been largely Muslim up until then. The Moors from Morocco had been, and they had a pluralist society where you had Christians, Jews, and Muslims. Tons of scientific breakthroughs, musical breakthroughs. The traveling, what do you call them? Minstrels. That came from Moorish Spain. You know, the instruments themselves, the violin, the guitar, all of that stuff came from Moorish Spain. It was they were North African instruments that were modified in Europe by the Muslims, and then further modified.
I actually don't know anything about the history of the guitar.
Yeah,
come to think of it,
it's crazy. But it's
I can play the hell out of one, but I don't know anything about them.
Right. So that was quote unquote Andalusian music, from what was referred to as Al-Andalus, which is what they used to refer to as what Spain used to be called long, long ago, before the Catholics came back in and took it back over. So now
that sounds like the Catholics.
Right? Now another one is known as Hamd. Now this is 2 minutes. Yeah. So this is from Turkey. This is another thing. So you'll see with these, you have the circles like in the solar system, and then you'll have one stronger voice above all the rest, and you'll notice it in this that is in the middle, like the sun, and you have this rhythmic chanting with the music. And these are the same that you'll see them. Sometimes they will run in a circle in a perfect rhythm. This is that Hamd type of Sufi music that you'll hear in Turkey. right. So now this right here, what you just heard, that alone is enough reason for Al Qaeda to come burn down your mosque and cut your imam's head off.
Al Qaeda doesn't really need a reason.
Yeah.
They're kind of douches.
But that's the people that they're targeting when they're talking about like Sufi shrine burned down.
I'm sure. Well, because those are the type of Muslims who, you're not allowed to be happy and passionate.
Yeah.
About it.
Yeah. Well, to them,
because you have to be this withdrawn, homogenous, normalized.
Well, for them, it's the opposite. To them, fear of God is the best thing that you can have, is to be scared.
Well, that's what they say.
Yeah.
But it's fear of them.
Yeah.
That
very
they think
true.
is best.
Yeah, exactly. The fear of them is replaced by fear of God. Now, the last one we're going to do, because we've only got about a minute and a half left, this is out of Pakistan. This is one of my favorites. It's called Qawwali. So this is this is Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan.
Now we are singing another religious song, a devotional number in the praise of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Naz Sharif.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, September 14th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.20 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,203 per ounce. Zen is trading at $16, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,460. Antiwar.com reports Turkish officials announced Wednesday that they sent hundreds of additional special forces, along with tanks, armored vehicles, and other equipment, across the border into Syria's Idlib province. They are intended to reinforce Turkish military posts in northern Syria. Turkish officials say that the intention is to deter the Syrian military from launching an offensive against the Idlib province, which is under control of various rebel factions, the largest of which is Al-Qaeda's Nusra Front. Turkey is aligned with some of these fighters in supporting regime change in Syria. In addition to boosting their direct military presence in Idlib, Turkey has also sent a large amount of additional weapons and ammunition for rebels to use. Rebel sources say they have been told Turkey will provide military support for a long, protracted battle. Idlib and neighboring areas are the last major rebel enclaves inside Syria. For Syria to recover the territory would effectively end the war, though doing so is likely to take a major offensive. Syrian and Russian planes have been conducting airstrikes along the outskirts, trying to soften up defenses before a ground invasion. There is no timetable for such an invasion. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They're working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform. The unique spelling of Horizon is a nod to their heritage and recognizes that they remain committed to the vision that their project was built upon. Their coin and ticker symbol remain ZEN. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. UPI reports lawmakers in the U.S. House and Senate say they agreed Thursday on a bipartisan fiscal package that seeks to avert President Donald Trump's promise to shut down the government in an effort to get funding for his proposed border wall. The spending bills would fund some two-thirds of the government, including the Pentagon and the Health and Human Services Department. The package also includes a stopgap spending measure to ensure the government stays open through December 7th. Details of the package have not been revealed. Representative Rodney Frelinghuysen, chairman of the House Committee on Appropriations, said the bipartisan package, should Trump sign it, would avoid a battle over a potential shutdown until after the midterm elections. Trump has threatened to force a government shutdown on October 1st if a spending bill does not include the billions of dollars he would need to build his border wall. Politico reported that lawmakers hope the fiscal packages agreed upon Thursday will make it politically impossible for Trump to do so. Representative Rosa DeLauro said the president will have to sign it into law or shut down the government. House and Senate aides told CNN that the White House said Trump plans to sign the package. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's fans.fppradio.com. Reuters reports Attorney General Jeff Sessions on Thursday vowed to fight back against federal courts that issue injunctions barring the federal government from implementing regulations nationwide and accused federal judges of engaging in judicial activism. In a speech in Missouri, Sessions revealed he was issuing new litigation guidelines that he said would assist our department attorneys in fighting unconstitutional orders all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. Nationwide injunctions have become a favored tool by states and other groups who have staunchly opposed many of the Trump administration's more controversial policy initiatives. They allow a single judge in one federal district to block the implementation of new rules across the entire country. The new guidelines call on DOJ litigators to fight back against cases that involve nationwide injunctions. During the Obama administration, Republican-led state attorneys general and business groups often sought nationwide injunctions, a strategy that has since been more often deployed by Democratic state attorneys general and civil rights groups who seek to block many of President Donald Trump's policies. According to Sessions, courts have issued nationwide injunctions 25 times since Trump took office. Sessions said in a statement, "This trend must stop. We have a government to run. The Constitution does not grant a single district judge the power to veto executive branch actions." This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Following morning reports indicating that Philadelphia High School for the Performing Arts student Samantha Bylum deals with really weird social pressures on a daily basis, Onion reporters met with the 16-year-old dance student who described feeling regularly alienated from her peers for extremely bizarre reasons.
If you're not up to date on the latest urban street art or Esperanza Spalding albums, the other students will eat you alive. It can get pretty brutal. Just the other day, everyone cut class to go watch the $1 Million Quartet musical at the Forest Theater, but nobody told me. Now I'm the only one that hasn't seen Lance Guest's rendition of Folsom Prison Blues. It's humiliating.
According to Bylum, the school year shows no sign of letting up as she continues dealing with the everyday stresses of auditioning for the school's production of My Fair Lady, keeping up with the latest punk Afrofusion dance groups, and not having enough fishnet sleeves to wear throughout the week.
Honestly, I don't know how the other students deal with it.
Keep checking theonion.com for more as this story develops.
This is the Onion News Network.
The Call to Freedom is an opinion show. It's meant for informational purposes only. It is not licensed financial advice. It is very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with or independently research and verify any information that you hear from the Call of Freedom and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. I mean, come on, guys. Duh. It's a cryptocurrency investment and a political talk radio. Of course, it's opinions.
All right, welcome back to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We are broadcasting live from our Horizon.global studios here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire, and it is our crypto hour on this Friday afternoon on your drive home. So we've been talking about Horizon's big rebranding, that Zencash was going to be doing a rebranding, their new name. We brought somebody on right after we first got the contract and they first started sponsoring the studio here, and we spoke to them. And when they did finally launch the rebrand, we went to Roland. We were like, look, I'd really love to be able to get somebody on the show and kind of talk to the listeners about what are the changes that have come along with this rebrand to Horizon.global. So in keeping with that request, we've got, can you turn your radio down in the background?
Yeah, sure can.
Thanks. We have Rolf, right? Joining us from Horizon.global. How you doing today, Rolf?
I'm doing great. Happy to be on. Thanks, Will.
So tell us a little bit about what's going on with this rebrand from Zencash to Horizon.global.
Well, we got a lot going on. I'm not sure how familiar your listeners are with the history of Zencash.
Very. We've been covering Zencash for at least close to a year now, right?
Yeah, I mean, the first time we had them on the show, we tried not to. But what they said was so awesome. I mean, we did. We spent the hour like fawning over them.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, they've been on the show a couple times. They also sponsor. They've been a sponsor of the studio since June. So yeah, our listeners are fairly familiar with Zencash as it was before the rebranding.
Well, then let me just dive right into it. With the rebranding, it kind of felt like we were growing beyond what we had talked about with Zencash, because here about a year and a half after launch, we've got so many different things going on. We're making such good progress, and there's such a lot of opportunity for a privacy and an anonymity-based cryptocurrency, and then the other things that we're doing, that we wanted to break out of just the Z-based cash mold. And we took the opportunity. I mean, we basically have been bootstrapping this entire organization since the beginning, where we started with an idea, we started with a launch, kind of like a startup with just a few people. And as we've grown and as the price has gone up due to our wonderful supporters, we've been able to afford to bring on really kind of everything that you would have in perhaps a small business in the Zen Blockchain Foundation, developers, marketers, people that go out and show different businesses and people how to use Horizen. And so we've got a lot of development projects going on. And yes, our core is still the ability to be able to do private and anonymous transactions and messaging and publishing, but able to deliver that, we're building so much more into the capabilities that we're then going to expand on in the next few years that we really wanted to have an unlimited name and branding. And that's why we switched over to Horizen.
Okay. Now, I've heard about you've got some big expansions that you guys have been doing that you're working on. There was one thing that we spoke to you guys last time you were here, and that was about the 51%, and that you guys have some special silver bullet that you guys are working on. Is there any update on that?
Yeah, there absolutely is an update on it. So we did have that 51% attack where an exchange was subject to a double spend transaction, which can happen when someone is able to get more than 51% of the hashing power. We really wanted that to never happen again. So our lead architect, Alberto, worked with the development team to come up with an idea to change the Satoshi consensus. So instead of just the longest blockchain that becomes publicly visible, there's a change that if there's a hidden blockchain being run and then exposed that's the longest chain, there'll be a delay penalty to the blocks. Quickly, we've had that in testnet, or we have that in our internal DevNet for a while, and just in the last week we put it into testnet. We've been actively publicly testing the 51% attack mitigation code. So very excited that we got that quickly written, tested. We did work in consultation with IOHK to develop that. And so it's great that we're able to work in conjunction with our partners there. But yeah, that's in testnet. And after we are happy and satisfactory with the test and we don't need to iterate back to additional code improvements, we're going to be able to move that into the mainnet.
Wow, very cool. Very cool. So, do you have headphones in?
I can.
It would be a
that's
lot
why I
better
wanted to do a quick test beforehand.
We're getting a little bit of a loop back from your speaker, unfortunately.
All right.
So,
well, let me see if I can get headphones in and get a little better audio quality for you. That's important here.
Yeah.
For a moment there, it was much clearer, much more crisp. I guess you were moving closer to the mic as you said that.
Well, no, it was because I wasn't talking, because we aren't hearing him doubled up. Like, I've got him muted right now so that we're not hearing the double ups. But that's it's gone now. See, and he's still there. See, there we go. Now it's gone. Woohoo!
All right, good. Well, I'll just talk right here then, and we're going to be good to go.
Sounds good.
Awesome. So let's see what else was going on that they were talking. Contracts. You got about a minute to? Can you tell us about the developments on the new Horizen.global implementation of smart contracts?
Smart contracts is going to still be a little ways out.
Okay.
That's going to be part of our sidechain implementation.
Yeah.
And so sidechains have been. We're going to be rolling that out on a framework called ScoreX, and I'd be happy to talk a little bit more after the break on what we're going to do with sidechains and the progression through that, and how that's going to be able to implement smart contracts in the future. For sure, there's a lot going on there.
Okay.
And the first thing that we're going to be doing with sidechains is we have our governance model, and then we have our monitoring and payment of our secure and super nodes. So those are internal applications that we're going to be able to run on the side chains, and that's really what we have the super nodes for. is to be able to run these sidechain applications. And after we run our internal applications on them that make the network more reliable, more robust, then we're going to be able to extend those to external applications.
Awesome.
So Zencastr has been working for a while on a number of projects like a sort of voting mechanism and things like that. When we get back from the break, could you elaborate on how those updates or how those projects are moving forward and when we might expect to see them?
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Awesome. Very good. Then we'll get into that as soon as we get back here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. So don't go anywhere.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
Who told you to go this way? You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, Hey, who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait on account. Now. Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me? Because you're scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
You're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
تستمتعون إلى برنامج نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
All right, welcome back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. Broadcasting live from our Horizon.global studios here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. It is our Crypto Hour, and we are joined by Rolf Versluis. I probably did that badly.
Horizon.
Do what?
I was one of the co-founders of Horizon.
Oh, very cool, very cool. One of the co-founders from Horizon, and he's talking to us about the updates on some of the awesome tech that we were talking about. What are we going to say around the time of PorcFest when we had Zencash on the last time, wasn't it, or right after PorcFest? So yeah, back in probably late June, early July, we had the guys from Zencash come back on with us, and they were telling us about some awesome tech they had coming out. And Aria brought up one of those great pieces of tech, and that is the voting system. And I heard that there's some type of a voting system similar to what Dash has that Zencash is working on, and we were wondering what's going on with that right now.
Yeah, let me give you a little bit of a background on that voting system. So Zencash, now Horizon, started out really coming out of the Z-Classic community, which as a community coin. So we wanted to make sure that we started and then had a vision of what we were going to develop, and then turned everything back to the community. And really, Dash is how they do their voting, or that they do voting is inspirational to us, and we wanted to come up with a way to be able to take the treasury funding, the 10% of the new blocks that come in, and over time make that all accountable to the people that vote through governance. So again, we prefer to work with experts. So one of the first consulting contracts that we worked with IOHK was to ask them to design and deploy and test a voting system for us. And they looked at the ones that were out there. So Roman and a few other PhDs out of Ukraine, they did an analysis of the Dash voting system. They said it's a very good voting system. One of the issues is that people see the votes, how many votes are coming in, yay or nay, as they progress. And part of what they did was they actually proposed an Ethereum Classic treasury and voting system. And so they had that background, and then they looked at what the technical capabilities that we had were, including the ZK SNARKs, the zero-knowledge proofs. And they said, okay, we can design a voting system for Horizon that'll allow people to have secret ballots. Because of the zero-knowledge proof. You can have something that's true, but you don't have to expose to everybody. So they designed a voting period, and this is on one of our blog posts, Roman did an outstanding presentation demo, and we linked to the white paper on there, which is like a typically dense technical.
Are you there? We seem to have lost him. He dropped out in the middle.
And
there he is.
Really enjoyed the demo. But basically, there's going to be voting epochs, so a proposal period, a voting period, and then a post the results of the vote period. So that voting system was developed, tested, implemented on Scorex, and then delivered to us and said, here you go. Here's the and just like many things that IOHK does, they publish that as open source on GitHub. So the voting system that Horizon has funded as consulting from IOHK is available on the GitHub that other organizations are able to implement. So in order for us to implement that, we could either implement it in the main chain, so the main blockchain of Horizon, or we could look at doing it on side chains. And the advantage of doing it on side chains is that it doesn't add to the main blockchain size. And the size of the main blockchain, if you're running a full Horizon node right now is about 15 gigs, and we don't want that to grow really fast. So that's a good reason to have activity take place on the side chains. So we have the voting system available, but it needs to be implemented in software. And software development is it can take a while to do properly and to test and to implement. So the steps to getting the voting system implemented are, first we get the side chains written, tested, applied, and then we get the voting system, the Treasury and governance system, applied to the side chain. And then we have to start testing things. So we recently had a decision that we made on, because of the appearance of Equihash ASIC miners, whereas for a long time we had been GPU mining exclusively, as to some of the GPU miners would have liked to have us change the mining algorithm so that the existing batch of ASIC miners would not be able to work on the system. And it's difficult to find out what the mood or desire of the community is, and of course it needs to be balanced against the security and continued operation of Horizon. In the end, we decided to not change any algorithm at all, but that's a perfect type of thing that if we had a voting system in place that we could put to a vote.
That's very cool. I like the idea. I was under the impression that it was going to be more widely available as a sort of voting mechanism, like it would have some sort of possible application to, I don't want to say governance voting because, you know, screw the government, but, you know, that sort of voting mechanism that it could be used in wider society and not just, you know, how much
I would expect that it could be used in wider society. In a lot of cases, for the things that we do that we want to extend outside of what we have, first we need to implement and test them and make sure that it works well for our own internal capabilities, and then we have to develop APIs. And just like if you're going to do anything for your own self, it's very straightforward to do, but then to make it usable by other people, call them customers or partners and things like that, you have to put a number of things in place. Documentation, support, assistance, guides, and all sorts of things for that. So yeah, that's a possibility. From the timeline of Horizon implementing the governance system internally and using it to make decisions, as well as voting on proposals and other things like that, similar to how Dash votes on proposals, I'd expect that we'd be able to accomplish that within 6 to 9 months. And then after we move more decisions to the voting, or in parallel with moving more decisions to voting, we can also be putting together the package that we would need to be able to have other people use that voting system, whether they would want to use the voting system as kind of a software as a service voting system, or be able to take the open source application and implement it themselves for their own voting system. Those are all possibilities. So yeah, there's a lot of plans that we have to do. Some of these are, in my point of view, 3 to 5 year plans. They're not things that are right around the corner.
All right, very cool. When we get back here, we're going to have more with Rolf from Horizon.global, so don't go anywhere.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Pure Life Water, helping you drink better and live better by providing a zero-calorie alternative to sugary drinks. Visit us at nestle-purelife.us. When kids are playing, they often don't want to stop to keep hydrated, so send them out with a bottle of water and encourage them to take frequent drink breaks, or call them inside for a quick sip. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. आप सुन रहे हैं स्वतंत्रता की पुकार सिर्फ और सिर्फ LRN.FM पे।
All right, welcome back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. So it's the middle of our crypto hour here, or broadcasting live from the Horizon.global studios in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And we're joined by Rolf. He's one of the co-founders, actually, of Horizon.global. And we've been picking his brain about some of the updates that we heard. Who was it? Was it Roland that came on the show last time? I believe it was. I think it was Roland that came on the show last time.
Don't get me lying, man.
Yeah, right. So anyway, Roland comes on the show
names.
A few months ago, and then we saw that this new Horizon.global rebranded finally happened, and that my Zencash kitty shirts are totally a collector's item now. And right. And he's been updating us on everything from the voting to smart contracts and you know, like are we doing this today? Are we doing it tomorrow? 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? What's going on? And I had asked, I wanted to know what's going on. I've heard that Zencash is branching out internationally, particularly in East Africa, Kenya. And I was hoping maybe you could update us on some of Horizon Global International's efforts.
Yeah, sure can. And that's been one of the things early on that we wanted to do, because what we've had and have and are still focusing on is the ability to have completely private or anonymous transactions. If you use Bitcoin or most other cryptocurrencies, those transactions are all published on the blockchain and can be analyzed. In some cases, they can be tied to specific people or organizations that make the transactions. So with Horizon, you've got transparent addresses, which are just like Bitcoin, and then you have shielded addresses. And when you use a shielded address, even though it gets recorded on the blockchain, nobody can see who sent it, who received it, or how much was sent. So private or anonymous transactions. That's things that businesses need to pay employees. It's the thing that people need to do person-to-person transactions and maintain privacy and anonymity. And part of what we've been doing is, hey, we're actually pretty free here in America, but there's a lot of parts of the world where there is a government that's overbearing or in some cases corrupt. Or in some places there's organized crime that runs things, and heck, even just doing international monetary transmittal, you get 3% fees knocked off your transmittal throughout. So we wanted to get the technology and the capability to do private anonymous transactions into people's hands all over the world. And people have been able to do that for the last year with Horizon, and it's a very useful capability. But you have to sit down and show people what you're doing. And so if you listen into our biweekly updates and see the slides that we do live on YouTube, we got one coming up Wednesday next week at 1 p.m. Eastern. We have updates from our reps all over the world, our ambassadors or our local representatives. One of those is in Kenya, and that's Hugh. And again, this was someone from our Horizon community that liked what we're doing and stepped up and said, hey, I want to take on the additional responsibility to go talk to people about how to do these private transactions. And one of the ways to get Zen into people's hands is to have them earn it. There's multiple ways to earn it. One of them is to do a proposal and have the payment from the Treasury do that. Another is to mine it. But what we have that's somewhat unique is that we pay people to operate nodes. And nodes are what the Horizon wallet connects to. So if you want to have quick, rapid transactions that aren't blocked by any country-level firewall or anything like that, we got to get nodes into those countries. And that's why we're focused on nodes so much. And what Hugh has been doing has been talking to people about what we can do with Horizon and also having classes to show people how to set up and operate nodes. And I think if you have some Zen, you need like 42 Zen to run a secure node.
Really? Is that all?
Just 42? Based upon that, and then we can set up small ecosystems. So, for example, Hugh has attended. He went to the Blockchain Forum in Nairobi on August 4th, and then held a meetup in Kampala in Uganda, September 21st. And then there was an Africa Tech and Entrepreneurship Conference on August 31st. That he went to. So he's pretty busy getting things done in Africa, which is really one of those places that could really use some better currency options. One that I went to recently was on the 6th of September, the Nairobi Public Forum by the Institute of Economic Affairs that was held at the Stanley Hotel in Nairobi. So he's keeping pretty busy. And if you look at some of those biweekly updates, you'll see pictures of Hugh surrounded by a lot of different people that are doing cryptocurrency activity in Kenya.
That sounds very cool. I'm looking forward to all of the things that Horizon. I keep wanting to call it Zencash, and I'm almost certainly going to as we continue our discussion. So sorry about that in advance. I liked Zencash because it rolled off the tongue so well.
Well, we've still got the Zencash banner. We just took it down when the rebrand came. So,
we do.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to our Horizon banner, though.
Well, when the new contract starts and they send us another check.
C'est la vie.
We'll get new banners and everything.
I don't remember what I was about to ask. Oh, the great work you guys are doing around the world. You mentioned earning Zencash, and I think that, see there, I just did it. I think that earning Horizon is by far the best way to get people using, keeping, and spending cryptocurrency.
What's a node payoff typically in a month?
I was looking at the numbers for a node, and right now, so 10% of the new Zen that's created gets paid out to all the nodes that qualify. And I believe there's about 16,000 nodes that qualify right now for a secure node, which if you operate it over the course of a year, so you have to have 42 Zen kind of put in your wallet, in your address, to be able to operate that secure node. Shows that you got skin in the game. And that'll, at this point in time, you'll end up getting about 12% Zen, 12 new Zen over the course of a year earned. So I'm not sure what percentage that is. Now, you also have to run a server or rent a server, a virtual private server. But we have really good documentation on our website. And if you go to our website at horizon.global, Zen with an E for Horizon, and go on how to get Zen, you can see mining it, super nodes, secure nodes, and click on that. And it takes you to documentation that steps you through. It's excellent documentation. I just tested it here the other day on how to set up a secure node. And once you got that up and running, you'll continue to get paid Zen every week because we need to have those nodes up and running. I figure at some point in time, somebody's not going to like that we're giving folks the ability to do private transactions, and they're going to do some kind of technical or internet attack against our nodes and try to take us down. If we got a whole bunch of them up and running in all sorts of different parts of the world, that's going to be hard to do.
Very good, very good. So we're joined right now by Rolf from Horizon.global. We're discussing all of the wonderful new upgrades that have happened, going along with the rebranding from Zencash to Horizon.global, and discussing some of their international efforts to spread the ideas of freedom and cryptocurrency all over the globe. We'll be back with more with him right after this.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Did you know you can get news updates about what's happening with the Liberty Radio Network delivered in the way you prefer? You can sign up for our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. Plus, you can stay in the loop by joining our Facebook profile at facebook.lrn.fm or follow us at Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm. It's all free, so sign up now at updates.lrn.fm for news updates delivered to your email box, facebook.lrn.fm to follow our Facebook page, and twitter.lrn.fm to receive our tweets.
Zoo visitors watch the mating rituals of the ice cream shop staff, and a serious coworker puts on headphones to focus on his sandwich. Happiness is perpetually fleeting, so try to savor the next few minutes before it disappears once again. This is The Onion Week in Review. FBI officials announced they just can't bring themselves to bust a man who recently downloaded every season of the 1990s television show Picket Fences from a BitTorrent website. While stressing that pirating copyrighted material is strictly illegal, federal authorities expressed their sympathy for the man and claimed that perhaps the story of Sheriff Jimmy Brock and the strange events in a small Wisconsin town is all he has left to cling to.
We have more than enough evidence to bust him for piracy, but if the poor guy really wants to watch all 4 seasons of a 20-year-old CBS drama that nobody remembers, he's clearly going through a pretty big rough patch right now. And frankly, we don't need to make it any worse.
For statistical purposes, we have seized all private data from your personal computer, and we are disgusted with your recent internet search history. You sick f***. For more, keep checking theonion.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
You are listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. Unasikiliza wito wa uhuru katika LRN.FM.
Well, I got a big home and a pan corn to feed him on. All I need is pretty little girl, feed him when I'm gone. Feed him when I'm gone, boys, feed him when I'm gone. All I need is pretty little girl, feed him when I'm gone.
All right, welcome back into the final segment of our Crypto Hour here on The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. We've been joined today by Rolf, one of the co-founders of what used to be called Zencash, now known as Horizon.Global. And we've been talking to him about all the upgrades and where we're at, and because we heard a whole lot of stuff when we had Roland on a couple months ago, and we heard some more stuff when we had Nathaniel on at PorcFest. We got Rolf on with us today, and he's been updating us on some of the international work that they've been doing, what's going on with the voting system, side chains, the 51%, the magic silver bullet for 51% attacks. Now, the other big thing, though, and this is the number one thing when it comes to the crypto industry, mass adoption. Here in Keene, you can go to many places. You can spend Dash, you can spend Bitcoin. What is Zencash doing on the mass adoption front?
Yeah, we've been. That's really one of the things that we've got our sights set on, and has been clear that we're looking to do from the get-go. One of the things to get mass adoption is to make sure that you have a really good and usable and reliable product. And so that's a lot of the work that we've been building out since launch, is to make sure that we have very good wallet applications for people to use, and that we've got a system that is reliable and secure, usable in lots of different languages. And that's a great start. Then we need to figure out, okay, who's actually going to be using this, and how do we get out there and show them what it is? Because we got to get Zen into people's hands, and then do small ecosystems where we can pay people with Zen, and then they go pay it to other people, and then it becomes a very useful cryptocurrency. So we think we've got the main features of being able to have private transactions, which hasn't received a lot of interest from a lot of people so far, but I think they're essential, especially for small business adoption or person-to-person purchases. You look at buying something on Craigslist, or you look at buying, I did a presentation on this recently at a meetup here in Atlanta. You look for what are the situations where you use cash, or where you are buying something where it's legal, but you'd rather not have other people be able to figure out that you're buying it. And you go into these different vertical markets. Well, legal cannabis. Great. I'm going to go buy some, but I'm probably going to use cash because that's all they accept. And even though it's legal, it's kind of, in a gray area. What if I wanted to buy something regarding sex, of whatever the sexual proclivity that I have is? If I'm going to buy something with that, I probably want to use a type of mechanism that doesn't show up on a credit card or a bank statement or tracking somewhere else. So those are kind of the vertical markets. And, does it go sex, drugs, guns, and then other things that you want to keep private? I mean, what if I go get a nose job? I don't want everybody to figure that out. There's a lot of things that, if you think about it, just on a person-to-person transaction level, you'd like to keep private. So one of the things that we're looking at doing is going to gun shows and showing people how they can do private transactions in larger amounts with something that's equivalent to cash.
Let me ask you this, because you mentioned buying sex, and this is actually something that I've talked about before that I would really like to look into actually building, except I don't have the expertise to do it. Zencash as a platform, would it be suitable for something like I can't even remember, like a Backpage?
Yeah, Backpage.
But that was built on the blockchain so that it couldn't just be come in and destroyed by the government, because, those places like Craigslist and Backpage and the other one whose name I don't recall, they made a lot of women safer in the real world.
Well, yeah, those were women. They could take their work into their own hands. They didn't have to worry about being literally physically bullied out and abused by a pimp.
Yeah. So my question is, could something such as that be built on the Zencash platform, Horizon platform, or is it the main benefit of it that the transactions that would be done in that sort of service would be cloaked and impossible to track?
Yeah, that's a great question. Right now, the main benefit is that they're private, unable to be tracked, cloaked, as you say. In the future, that's what side chains with third-party applications would be possible to build on top of it. There may be other better ways to do that, but we think there's enough market and desire for the ability to have easy-to-use private transactions that go in conjunction with a service like that to really take up a lot of our time. And so that's where we're focused on the near term. And right now, the way to do those shielded transactions, you have to do it on a desktop wallet, a full node wallet. And there's technical improvements that are coming through the system so that hopefully at about 6 months from now, you'd be able to do those same type of fully private transactions on a mobile device. And once you're able to do that, with scanning and quick transactions, then it makes it a lot simpler. And then we just have to go through the tedious or difficult and necessary process to show people how to do these and make it easy, because you can't just build something and hope that people come use it. You have to get out and show people. And then provide support. That's one of the reasons why we have a 24/7 support desk, so that if people that are using
and you're the only
have an issue,
cryptocurrency,
they can ask for help.
You're the only cryptocurrency I'm aware of who has that. I'm sure others do, but you're the only one I'm aware of.
Beancash.
Fair enough, and that's why we think of terms of a small business.
Why do you think we were like, hey, let's get them on with the show? Because they do the same thing. They have they care about their quote unquote customer community base, just like Zencash does. I was impressed, just like we were with Zencash. Now Horizon.global. Sorry, go ahead, Rolf.
Yeah, and that's why I think that there's so many little things that are important to adoption. So you got to have a big picture. Who are your most likely users, and how do we make it easy for them to use it? and then how do we get out there and show them and help them? So there's a lot doing that. And that's why when you asked earlier about AnyPay and integration into point-of-sale systems, that's one element of being able to have small businesses use Horizon. Others are being able to integrate into accounting systems and disbursement and payment systems and things like that. So there's a lot to having small business be able to use it. It's much more straightforward to get people to use it in person-to-person transactions first.
Okay.
So we're very focused on getting people to use it, and that's why Good Wallets, ambassadors, focusing on different vertical markets who have a need for privacy above and beyond, and they don't mind that it's a little bit more difficult to use because it's really important for them to keep their transactions. A huge one is international remittances. I mean, you look at people that need to send money back to their family in other countries, they have to go through the banking system. Well, a majority of the world's people are unbanked. They don't actually have a bank account. So then they have to use...
It costs tons of money. When my wife and I first got married, my father-in-law was having to wire her the money to pay her tuition. And that meant like $35,000 a semester. And the fees to send that money were absolutely insane. Not to mention the transfer fees from transferring it to shillings to dollars. On top of that,
and then along the way, everybody knows your business, that you're sending money first, that you've got money to send, and then that you're sending it. Imagine being able to send it within 10 minutes and nobody knows you sent it. No fees.
That sounds beautiful.
That's what I'm talking about for international remittance.
That sounds like something I would love to see. And because you're right, and that was one of the things that we discussed about Bitcoin here recently, when all of that Bitcoin, I don't remember how much it was moved from a wallet address. The entire Bitcoin community was watching it. They were aware that this massive amount of Bitcoin belonging to someone, probably the Silk Road Bitcoin, was sold or moved or used or otherwise moved. And Zencash doesn't have those problems.
Well, we want to thank Rolf for coming out today, giving us an opportunity to talk about Zencash, Horizon.global now on the air. And you've been more than informative. As always, anytime any new updates come out, please come tell us and our audience all about your great product. We'll be back with Libertarian Drama right after this.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network. at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, September 14th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.20 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,203 per ounce. Zen is trading at $16, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,460. Antiwar.com reports Turkish officials announced Wednesday that they sent hundreds of additional special forces, along with tanks, armored vehicles, and other equipment, across the border into Syria's Idlib province. They are intended to reinforce Turkish military posts in northern Syria. Turkish officials say that the intention is to deter the Syrian military from launching an offensive against the Idlib province, which is under control of various rebel factions, the largest of which is Al-Qaeda's Nusra Front. Turkey is aligned with some of these fighters in supporting regime change in Syria. In addition to boosting their direct military presence in Idlib, Turkey has also sent a large amount of additional weapons and ammunition for rebels to use. Rebel sources say they have been told Turkey will provide military support for a long, protracted battle. Idlib and neighboring areas are the last major rebel enclaves inside Syria. For Syria to recover the territory would effectively end the war, though doing so is likely to take a major offensive. Syrian and Russian planes have been conducting airstrikes along the outskirts, trying to soften up defenses before a ground invasion. There is no timetable for such an invasion. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They are working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform. The unique spelling of Horizon is a nod to their heritage and recognizes that they remain committed to the vision that their project was built upon. Their coin and ticker symbol remain ZEN. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. UPI reports lawmakers in the U.S. House and Senate say they agreed Thursday on a bipartisan fiscal package that seeks to avert President Donald Trump's promise to shut down the government in an effort to get funding for his proposed border wall. The spending bills would fund some two-thirds of the government, including the Pentagon and the Health and Human Services Department. The package also includes a stopgap spending measure to ensure the government stays open through December 7th. Details of the package have not been revealed. Representative Rodney Frelinghuysen, chairman of the House Committee on Appropriations, said the bipartisan package, should Trump sign it, would avoid a battle over a potential shutdown until after the midterm elections. Trump has threatened to force a government shutdown on October 1st if a spending bill does not include the billions of dollars he would need to build his border wall. Politico reported that lawmakers hope the fiscal packages agreed upon Thursday will make it politically impossible for Trump to do so. Representative Rosa DeLauro said the president will have to sign it into law or shut down the government. House and Senate aides told CNN that the White House said Trump plans to sign the package. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's fans.fppradio.com. Reuters reports Attorney General Jeff Sessions on Thursday vowed to fight back against federal courts that issue injunctions barring the federal government from implementing regulations nationwide and accused federal judges of engaging in judicial activism. In a speech in Missouri, Sessions revealed he was issuing new litigation guidelines that he said would assist our department attorneys in fighting unconstitutional orders all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. Nationwide injunctions have become a favored tool by states and other groups who have staunchly opposed many of the Trump administration's more controversial policy initiatives. They allow a single judge in one federal district to block the implementation of new rules across the entire country. The new guidelines call on DOJ litigators to fight back against cases that involve nationwide injunctions. During the Obama administration, Republican-led state attorneys general and business groups often sought nationwide injunctions, a strategy that has since been more often deployed by Democratic state attorneys general and civil rights groups who seek to block many of President Donald Trump's policies. According to Sessions, courts have issued nationwide injunctions 25 times since Trump took office. Sessions said in a statement, "This trend must stop. We have a government to run. The Constitution does not grant a single district judge the power to veto executive branch actions." This has been FPP Radio News. online at fppradio.com.
After this morning's police raid on Cosmopolitan magazine's male pleasure laboratory revealed that test subjects were forced to endure horrific abuses and inhumane living conditions, Onion reporters spoke to 23-year-old Daniel Chertok, one of the numerous men exploited for the monthly magazine's studies on erotic stimulation.
It was awful. They drove us wild for days on end. Once they made me lather myself with gallons of sexy bath oils, and then read thousands of racy text messages until my eyesight began to blur. Then for the next 12 hours, they blasted sultry songs into my ears and made me simulate 50 crazy hot sex moves. They said I couldn't rest until they found the bliss button on my randy regions.
According to Chertok, test subjects were often subjected to hours of grueling experimentation at the hands of female scientists. Chertok added that many of his fellow subjects were not lucky enough to survive the excruciating treatment.
This is the Onion News Network.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom live on LRN.FM. تستمعون إلى نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
Is a burning thing, and it makes a fiery ring, bound by wild desire. I fell into a ring of fire, 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 fire.
All right, welcome back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We are broadcasting live from our Horizon.Global studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire, and it's the third hour of your drive home broadcast here on this Friday afternoon. Last hour of us in the studio that for this week. Nice little weekend off. Well, not really for me. I'm going to spend most of my night painting rocks with children, and then we'll be entertaining some friends from Mombasa tomorrow, and then we'll go to town, and the kids want paint. We'll hide rocks, and it'll be fun. Oh, I mean, I'm not complaining.
I'm not off either.
You're not?
Well, I'm off at the other job tonight, but I'll be there tomorrow night. So I don't get a day off this week.
So, all right. So it is Friday afternoon, the third hour of the show. And you know what that means, folks?
Did you find some drama?
Well, I mean, we already knew what the only drama I know about is Keenal.
I mean, we talked about that 3 weeks running.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he that, retarded this year?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's endorsed an openly authoritarian socialist Democrat. I mean,
who lost her butt in the nomination in the primary.
And she had on her she's anti-gun. She had on her platform that she wants to use the state to solve all the world's problems. As idiotic and impossible as that is, since the state is what's causing 98% of the world's problems. But as I said last week, it really shows the inherent contradiction between socialism and libertarianism, and how a person would have to choose how much they value the different ideologies. And clearly for Keenal, he values socialism more.
The thing that I saw this week was somebody from the party apparatus, like a member at large, something like that. Anyway, one of those guys was like, Matt Keenal posted an image that basically was like pro-North Korean army and pro-North Korea. And yeah,
I have not seen that.
Yeah. It was like pictures of riot cops, and that was armed defenders of the bourgeoisie. And then it was a picture of the North Korean army, and it said armed defenders of the worker and proletariat. And
yeah, because North Korea is exactly, well, I mean, it is how communism works, but...
And he's like, do you support North Korea? And Keenel just, unfriended him instantly. But I guess there have been some local parties that are adopting language, reaffirming their value to property rights. Some of them are actually affirming, what's it called? Not libertarian. Well, I mean, voluntary communes.
Which I think every libertarian is fine with. The part that we're not fine with is the socialists and communists attempting to tell us what definition of property we can and can't use. I think that's the part libertarians take issue with. Because that's not voluntary at all. I mean, if their system was superior, though, then these communes would absolutely outcompete with our silly private property. That they're unwilling to compete with our model reveals that, they know their system is inferior. It can't win against capitalism.
Or that it just doesn't work.
Well, I mean, it may work in small doses.
Venezuela is not falling because of socialism. It's predatory capitalism. They got their foot on the Venezuelans' necks.
But I mean, the socialist commune, the communism commune, it will never attract engineers. It will never attract biologists or pharmaceutical, biomechanical engineers, whatever term I'm looking for, doctors, architects, people who, kind of sort of expect to be rewarded for their expertise, their knowledge, and their skills, will never go voluntarily into a system that says, hey, we're going to treat you with exactly the same prestige as we treat this guy whose only skill is the ability to fart and spit at the same time.
Right.
Why?
Pip farting on a snare drum.
Yeah. Why would anyone with skills want to go to such a system? They wouldn't. And that's why these communists...
That's why they push guilt culture.
Yeah, but that doesn't work for
my wife
work in the end.
Was just a conversation that she was having where it was said basically like rich white people should pay to bus the kids from inner city schools to the nice schools in the white neighborhoods and then drive their kids to the crappy schools, and that their kids should just go to the crappy schools to make up for the fact that slavery happened. And that's what they have to do to show that they're really repentant over slavery.
It's strange to me that a person should be expected to make recompense for something they didn't do.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, why do you need to repent from something you didn't actually do? And
repent to someone who didn't actually suffer from it.
Yeah.
Hey, Black America, I'm sorry. You were never slaves.
My favorite is the one that's okay. My grandmother's family came here in 1910. So what? And my father's family lived in Appalachia and worked with the Underground Railroad. So how much do I owe in reparations?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, my family risked life, limb, and property to help free slaves. And the other half of my family wasn't even in this country until 60 years after the war was over. So am I still guilty by... Oh, I am. And by what... melanin content. Okay.
Well, I mean, even if your ancestors were here, as mine were, so what? They're not me, man. I didn't do that. I'm not going to... The whole idea of paying for the sins of your ancestors...
It's called blood feud.
Yeah, and it's been rejected by every world religion ever. And every philosophy.
It's being readopted by the Muslims, though, in America.
Well, it's being readopted by the left.
Yes, which means the Muslims in America at this point, unfortunately. Oh, yes. You know what? When we get back, I've got to read the most awesome thing that came from this cat named Daniel Hawk. I'm going to just call him Daniel Hawk because the rest of it's just too long.
Okay.
And it doesn't look like a real word anyway. So anyway, but what he wrote was particularly. And when you hear it, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that sounds about right. But it's this because we covered the effort of the left to co-opt the Muslim community back on Monday,
and we covered it yesterday as well in regard to Christianity. Looking at the data, actually looking at it, it was inexplicably clear that it wasn't about Christianity and Marxism. It was about young people and city dwellers versus older people
in the rural
communities.
Yeah,
the disparities between those two were like 40% versus 6%.
Yeah,
35% versus 9%.
Which is why they want to get rid of the Electoral College, is because then New York City and Los Angeles gets to decide everything that happens in the entire country, and 80% of the country's actual people just get to be left out.
Yeah,
what is that when it's the rule of the many by two ivory cities on a hill?
An oligarchy?
Oh, yeah, that's right. An oligarchy. We'll be back with more right after this.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at SurvivorMax.com.
Don't worry about things you can't control. Isn't that what they always say? But it's about impossible to avoid worrying about what's going on these days. The government has used the war on guns, the war on drugs, and the war on terrorism to tear our Bill of Rights to shreds. But you can fight back. The 10th Amendment Center has proven it, racking up major victories. For example, when the U.S. government claimed authority in the NDAA to have the military kidnap and detain Americans without trial, the nullifiers got a law passed in California, declaring the state's refusal to ever participate in any such thing. Their latest project is offnow.org, nullifying the National Security Agency. They've already gotten model legislation introduced in California, Arizona, Oklahoma, Missouri, and Kansas, meant to limit the power of the NSA to spy on Americans in those states. We'd be fools to wait around for the U.S. Congress or courts to roll back Big Brother. Our best chance is nullification and interposition on the state level. Go to offnow.org, print out that model legislation, and get to work nullifying the NSA. The hero Edward Snowden has risked everything to give us this chance. Let's take it. Offnow.org.
The three most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.LRN.FM. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your favorite organizations, but make sure you give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin. mymagicmud.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Angel Clark, and you're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
All right, welcome back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We are, we're in the third hour of our live Friday drive afternoon drive home broadcast. And there's a little thing that popped up. Manohar Qadri, he's a friend of mine I've known for quite some time, introduced me to academics when I first became Muslim and was like, you should study law in Islam. And that's how I ended up where I am, really, honestly, to be truthful, where I am today. We were roommates for a time, and brilliant guy, really. Introduced me to Ron Paul.
Very cool.
Yeah. He was the Arabic teacher at the mosque that I went to when I first became Muslim. And he sent this to me this morning, and I was just dumbfounded at how awesomely accurate it was and how completely unself-aware many of the Muslims who commented on this were as well. This coming from Daniel Haq. It's Hakikat Jew, I think is what, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, so I'm just going to go with Haq. Says, you know how Muslims in the West can give really good dawah? Now, dawah is like witnessing for Christians, for those out there who understand that. It says, there's a secret formula. It's 6 easy parts. I'll tell you all about it. First and foremost, in terms of clothes, make sure that you are 100% indistinguishable from the average non-Muslim around you. I cannot emphasize how important this is. If you're a dude, skinny jeans, man, and get some tattoos. No need to shave your beard because that's in style nowadays. If you're a sister, dress however the most promiscuous non-Muslims dress. Put on as much makeup as you can, maybe even add a turban hijab if you want to make a statement about how much you hate Trump and support abortions. Next, your beliefs are key. You see, people aren't going to accept a religion that even slightly diverges from everything they already believe. So make sure that you express your support for some of the most fringe left-wing causes, because the only people worth your time are Democrats and liberals anyway, right? Causes to champion include transgendered bathrooms, gay adoption, abortion on demand, slut walks, normal stuff. And if anyone points out how these things are contrary to Islam, just put your fingers in your ears and shout how Islam is about protecting minority rights and social justice over and over again.
They're not wrong on that note, from what I've heard about Islam.
True, but
not in the way they're trying to do it.
Exactly. It also says that, to the income tax is oppression, and to set prices on labor, to set prices on labor is considered an injustice against person and property.
Yeah, I guess poor people who need jobs.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see. Part number 3. What about your dietary preferences? Well, just stay away from pork. If you can, you can always just tell people that you keep kosher. They'll understand. Alcohol and weed, that's optional. If you want your friends to think you're a cool Muslim, not a terrorist, though, Got to be okay with the occasional drink or joint. Now, we're not talking about medical use of marijuana here. If anyone, number 4, if anyone mentions God or brings up the topic of religion, just laugh mockingly, roll your eyes. You can't call people to Islam if they think you actually care about Islam. Just say something like, yeah, my parents are religious, but that's not my lifestyle. Now, make sure to fill all your conversations. This is number 5. Make sure you fill all your conversations with popular culture references. How else are people going to know that you're normal if you don't consume all the same entertainment that they do, no matter what it is? And of course, number 6 is the most important. It should go without saying, you have to emphasize how much you support women's rights and how you're a hardcore feminist. Like it or not, people think that Islam oppresses women, and rather than question or refute that assumption, fully embrace it. Talk about how backwards and ignorant other Muslims are, and they just don't get it. Maybe throw your own family members under the bus by portraying them as misogynists just because they don't want their daughters being used for hookups with random men. There you go. That's it. That is the secret. Now you know the formula. If Muslims want non-Muslims to see the beauty of their religion, they have to be 100% indistinguishable from everyone else in society. If you follow these steps, well, of course, non-Muslims are going to be giving shahadas left and right. Mazel tov.
He makes a number of good points.
For real, yo. That's a punch in the stomach, if I ever saw one, to that whole left-wing crowd. But of course, they'll miss it. They'll, with their complete and total lack of self-awareness, argue that some of the comments, I'm not going to read them, but some of the comments here are just ridiculous.
People who don't get the satire in it?
Well, just basically, I think that it's the fact that he's being honest and truthful, and he's talking about them, and so they're offended, and they're like, no, this isn't right. You shouldn't say these things. We gotta go all over the Democrats and the progressives because they're the only ones that say nice things to us before they drop the missiles.
On the subject of women's oppression, though, it's a difference in perspective, and it's I would use the word immoral, although very loosely, to say it's immoral for us to judge the way other cultures treat women, and it's immoral for them to judge the way that we treat women.
Well,
we
I
treat
think is
women
immoral is
as
that
more sexual objects,
Yes.
and that's fine because women in our culture seem to be largely okay with that. So it works.
Yeah.
It works for us. There's no oppression going on there, and it's different in these Middle Eastern countries where women are less objectified.
My wife's from Africa, and she is embarrassed. She doesn't want to go to the OB.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to go to a gynecologist, let alone
Well,
walk
it's a difference in
downtown in a pair
culture.
of short shorts.
It's a refusal to recognize the validity of other people's culture. And I think it's interesting that ignorance, that cultural phobia is coming from the left. Because aren't they supposed to be the tolerant ones? And yet they're looking at these Middle Eastern cultures that they're largely ignorant of, and they're calling them oppressive because they have a different cultural value system than these leftists from the West do. And to them, that's totally unacceptable. So, we're judging them by our own standards, and we're decreeing that their system is oppressive when they look at ours and say, no, your system is oppressive.
Yeah.
And the left goes, nuh-uh, because, we have abortions. So
we're free. We get to murder children. So that's true freedom.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
When commercials come on, don't push the button. Instead, listen. Even if you don't sell things for a living, you're still selling in the various conversations and transactions that make up your busy day. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important, especially if you're a job seeker. So take a lesson from Madison Avenue. Often the fewer words, the more effective the message. Like Jiffy Lube, where you never need an appointment, or the Office Max ad that says, you supply the ambition, we supply everything else. How about online ticket broker StubHub.com, the way in when it's sold out, or CyberCupid Match.com's seductive, go ahead, it's okay to look. How cleverly and succinctly can you distill your message? For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Catch the Call to Freedom at its new time, weekdays from 4 to 7 p.m. The Call to Freedom is the only live drive-home call-in show in the U.S. with a segment devoted to cryptocurrencies. Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium.com, live from Vertcoin Studios in New Hampshire. Learn about what makes cryptocurrencies so great and why you should care about them. Updates on new coins and ICOs, and warnings of scams. Plus, hear from traders, whales, developers, and big names in the crypto world. You can also win crypto coins or tokens every episode. Just listen for the faucet sound and be the 5th caller to get free Dash, Litecoin, Vertcoin, Verge, or other cryptocurrencies. The Call to Freedom with Will and Aria, featuring Crypto Hour. Broadcast internationally through our BitPlus network satellite. Weekdays from 4 to 7 p.m. on LRN FM.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
تستمتعون إلى برنامج نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
This song goes out to Jerry Garcia and Bob Marley. All my friends are stoners, lighting up all of the time. Everybody has a mason jar. Can you guess what I put in mine? We all go to Jamaica once or twice a year.
All right, welcome back to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM, where we are broadcasting live from the Zencast Horizon studio here in Keene, New Hampshire. And we have interesting news regarding, I guess we have good news for the stoners out there, in fact. We have bad news for people. Okay, but there's good news and there's bad news, but we'll get to the bad news first. Apparently, America has decided that it's time to crack down on cannabis at the Canadian border.
Risk a lifetime ban on travel to the United
United States, according to a senior official overseeing U.S. border operations. Pot stocks dipped on the news earlier today, but most of them did rebound. Tilray closed 9% lower. It had been a huge winner, though, ahead of that.
Hundreds of percent.
Right. Joining us now, Politico reporter Louisa Savage. She's been reporting on this story. So what exactly did you learn about the policy here at the border?
Yes, so I spoke with the top official overseeing border operations, Executive Assistant Commissioner Todd Owen, and he said that the law on who is admissible into the United States will be applied at the U.S. border in a way that does not allow anyone who works in the marijuana industry, who has used marijuana, or who invests in it to enter the United States. There are laws on the books about who is and isn't admissible into the United States, and there's a whole section there on drug use and drug trafficking. And even though marijuana becomes legal in Canada on October 17th, the U.S. federal law that governs the border does not change. So they will not be asking every Canadian traveler, have you used marijuana or do you own marijuana stocks? They made that clear to me. But if it comes up, if there's a smell of marijuana coming out of the car, if dogs find residue that could be up to 2 weeks old, they could still find it. Or if they ask you, what do you do for a living? And you say, I work for a marijuana company, or I am a marijuana entrepreneur, or I invest in marijuana, or somehow it comes up in conversation, they will apply these laws. And they have been doing that already. We've heard anecdotal evidence of people who've tried to come in and have been told at the border, no, you can't come in, and we're keeping a record of you, and you are now facing a lifetime ban. So there is a process by which you can appeal and seek a waiver. It costs $585, can take up to 6 months, and it's at the discretion of the U.S. government. So the point is, people will be taking a risk.
But Louisa, I mean, I guess the U.S. federal rules are the U.S. rules. So this is more a case of needing to update those rules as opposed to being critical that the U.S. Border Force is doing anything that's overly restrictive.
Yes, so CBP, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, emphasized this is not a new rule being brought in by the Trump administration. This is existing American immigration law, but it's really up to them how they apply it. So this official was laying out for me how they will be applying this. They're taking a pretty strict interpretation in that they're not saying, oh, well, it's legal there, so you're not facilitating any illegal drug activity. They're taking the view if it's illegal in the United States, that's enough for them. I asked specifically, look, what if you just have some stocks in your portfolio? Is there a minimum threshold for this to kick in? And the answer was, as long as you're doing something to facilitate the even legal in Canada or in some U.S. states marijuana industry, then that may affect your admissibility to the United States. So it's a very wide range of discretion that they have. And they have a lot of rights at the border, whether it's to look at your phone, ask you questions. So that's something that investors and workers and users of marijuana should know. I think people also have wondered, crossing into Canada, into a U.S. state where marijuana is legal, can you bring in a joint? Well, no, you can't. If you're caught with marijuana at the border, you face prosecution, criminal prosecution, and if state, local, or federal authorities don't want to prosecute you, CBP will impose a fine that could range from $500 to $5,000.
All right, so
this is a CNBC special report.
All right, so there you have it. The Border Patrol
sounds like freedom to me,
right? Border Patrol officials have confirmed cannabis employees will get lifetime bans from traveling into the United States if they are asked. And so basically, here's what it is. If you come to the border and you live in Canada and you are in any way associated or affiliated with a cannabis company, lie.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's basically what they're saying. Is
what they're
you
saying
have to
is
lie to the government, or we will oppress you.
It's like it's really good evidence that the government needs to get its crap together in regard to pot, because it's legal in Canada, it's legal in several U.S. states, it's increasingly legal, and we'll soon see it legalized across the board. Meanwhile, the federal government is going, no, it's still illegal and we're going to prosecute everyone. It's very much like having your mother tell you yes while your father tells you no. And there's obviously a problem there. that isn't the kid's fault. It's a dispute between the parents, a disagreement between the parents. And not that the government is our parents, but to most people there are. And, it's just an analogy, so just go with it. So we're like the kids, and we have our parents telling us two different things. And if dad catches us, he's going to take us out back with a switch. But mom is going to hand us a lighter. So we don't know what to think. We don't know what's going to happen from one day to the next. And that sort of instability is going to cause enormous problems. I would almost say that they want it that way, because then they can continue to say that pot is legal while continuing to unjustly and disproportionately arrest black people and say, but it's still illegal when they want to. And when they don't want to, like when they're looking at a white person.
You mean like New York City, where it's like, smoking pot in public is legal in New York City unless that cop needs to fill his quota that week and you happen to be standing close by.
Yeah, what were they arresting them for in New York?
I think they were arresting them for loitering instead of, or something like that.
It was something
gross
stupid.
Loitering or some crazy nonsense, because they couldn't arrest him. You couldn't arrest him because he was smoking pot, so they arrested him for standing still.
Which, to be fair, if you smoke enough pot, is all you can manage to do.
Well, and it technically is illegal. Standing still is illegal in most cities. It's called loitering. To stand still or sit in a city could be loitering at any time that the police decide that it's loitering. Loitering is basically laws that are like, I'm a cop and I need to harass you, so you're loitering.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you outside on the sidewalk? Yes. Are you walking like towards something, or just like, am I?
Well, see, that's why I like cities like Keene. We have benches out here that are designed for people to sit upon.
But if you sit on them,
loitering.
But technically, if you sit on them, that's loitering too. If they decide that they
not
want.
In Keene.
Well, I don't know. I hope not. I know in a lot of places it is.
But in Memphis, oh yeah. You stand outside that gas station too long, you're going to jail.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Or to a graveyard, if you're dark skinned enough.
Yeah.
If you're white-skinned enough, you'll just be told to go home. Do you need a ride, son? You look lost.
Right. All right, we'll be back with more of our cannabis news here on The Call to Freedom right after this.
Don't bogart that joint, my friend. Pass it over to me. Roll another one. Just like the other one. You've been hanging on to it.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. आप सुन रहे हैं स्वतंत्रता की पुकार सिर्फ और सिर्फ LRN.FM पे.
Let's focus our discussion first on marijuana, okay? Marijuana has a very distinct smell, okay? I'm going to pass around just a little tiny bit, and I want you all to take a smell so you know when someone is smoking marijuana near you.
We did not play the Friday song.
Yeah, I know. Oh, well. Oh, well. All right, well, it's time for the final segment of tonight's Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. And, well, we got a funny story for you. It's the same old unintended consequences of raising taxes. This is about... I swear to God, I just saw that light flashing. This is about California and their recent Prop 64, not 93. It says, what are mids? And why are they the best thing in California cannabis at the moment? Well, we're living through the dark days in California right now. And I said, well, I think this is hilarious. This is Leafly. And Leafly is usually so left-wing. And now all of a sudden they're like, oh, no.
I'm more interested in how they characterize, not being able to get really good pot as dark days.
Right. Legalization Prop 64.
Maybe you should quit smoking pot for a little while.
Has kicked in. The billion-dollar cannabis market in transitioning in turmoil. Supplies are down. Demand is up. 1/8 ounces of flower have been spotted cresting $93 in San Francisco. Double pre-legalization prices. Regular shoppers are frustrated. New consumers are shocked. But take heart, dear reader. Don't be bummed about the top shelf in California at this very moment. Set your sights a little bit lower. The real story in California's cannabis in 2018 is something much more hopeful. It's the rise of mids. Middle-tier quality cannabis at fair prices. Bargain shopping for mids is like truffle hunting or mushrooming. It's real life Pawn Stars or Storage Wars. You can find amazing mids at reasonable prices all across the state right now, and it just takes a little skill.
No, you know what it's like? It's like this old video game, but this really basic video game that used to be available on computers called Drug Wars. That's what it's like.
Right?
It's intense. Gotta find the best deal, man.
You can find amazing mids at reasonable prices all across the state right now. It just takes a little skill, a little persistence, and some patience, as in willingness to spend your hard-earned cash on crappy weed.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I mean, you could find some bags for like $5 a nickel,
The
$5 a gram, man.
act of mids shopping makes the world a better place. Here's why I stopped worrying and learned to love to settle for the middle. Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't want to associate myself in any way, shape, or form with an article that celebrates mediocrity.
Yes.
No matter what you're doing, you should always strive to be the best.
Well,
if that means that you have to smoke the best weed, then smoke the best weed. Don't sit there and go, well, this weed is mediocre and I love it. You're not a connoisseur at that point. You're an idiot. Find some good weed, man.
Well, see, the reason why it's okay is because California mids are global dank. Well, not really. Not anymore, at least. Mids is modern slang for middle, as in middle grade cannabis. It's not the best. That's exotic or designer. But it's not the worst, dubbed swag or regs or Reggie Miller. California's market is so competitive and advanced that what locals call mids will get most tourists zonked out of their gourds. Mids are perfect for out-of-state visitors who want to sample the local grass. Well, okay, I have to stop right here and call BS, because I came here from rural East Tennessee, and there were buds easily as good and as dank available 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Just as dank as anything you get in California. Hell, half the time the stuff was being mailed to Tennessee from California.
I didn't buy it often, but I could get weed in Mississippi that was $20 a joint.
So this thing about like, oh, well, tourists will only if those tourists are smoking cardboard while they're at home. You know, if you're smoking wood.
Which, I mean, if you're just sitting at home, yeah, you might as well smoke the bad stuff.
Well, what I'm saying is, like, these people are back home in these places that aren't California, and the assumption is, oh, well, they all smoke wood anyway because they don't live in Cali, so they don't know what real marijuana is. No, I'm sorry,
what do they think marijuana is?
For real, yo.
It's a plant with THC and CBD, man.
You do realize that the Northern California cannabis trade in Oregon, Colorado, all these 9 now they exist, right? And that East Tennessee and Southern Kentucky, all those moonshiners shut down their stills and opened up pot farms because it was far more profitable than corn. You do realize that, right? That some of the best weed in the world is grown in rural Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, and Kentucky. So that means
because they have the mountainous temperate regions that are just perfect for it.
It is a temperate
I mean, the only place you
rainforest.
could go that's better would probably be like Tibet or Kashmir.
Yeah, exactly. And the climate is similar.
Even here, well, no, it's too cold here.
It's too cold. Yeah, it's too cold here.
What a shame.
The growth season is too short.
We could create a strain though and call it like frostweed.
Northern Lights.
There you go.
There you go. See, there's already a Northern Lights, and I think that's where it came from.
Well, we'll call it Aurora Borealis then.
Right, there we go.
We can be the intellectual strain.
You're right.
You're smoking Northern Lights. Why don't you grow up and get the real stuff, the good stuff, Aurora Borealis.
Right. We'll even get a
weed.
drag queen to put on the cover and name her Aurora Borealis.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Chris, you got a wig, man?
No. She's got to be like Inuit, like an Inuit drag queen. Oh my God. Anyway, so California's market's so competitive and advanced, what we call mids is still mids everywhere else. Sorry. Mids are perfect for out-of-state visitors because they want to smoke weed that's just as crappy as the stuff is in their own hometown.
It's funny that California is even arrogant toward everyone else about even freaking pot. It's like, oh, you silly people in the Midwest. How did you vote for Trump? How did you smoke that disgusting weed?
That probably came from Northern California in a box.
How did you not smoke this $100, $150 an ounce stuff that we bought from farmers in your region?
Yeah.
Okay. Yours did not come 4,000 miles on a truck, okay? Ours did.
Says 10 to 10
Did Mexicans grow
10%
yours?
THC. Let's see. Market is upside down. Another reason to reconsider mids in California. The market's all distorted. As regulations bite down, the supply chain is in turmoil. Low-priced cannabis can sometimes be higher quality than the product riding the top shelf. We're finding disappointing, weak-smelling, outdoor-grown cannabis with a trendy name like Lemon Tree going for $70 an eighth. Jesus Christ!
So California is getting a nice little lesson in the laws of supply and demand.
Well, for real, yo, it's only $50 an eighth in Tennessee, and that's expensive. And they're like
an ounce.
They're paying an eighth of an ounce, yeah, and they're paying
screw
$70.
That. I would smoke the badge too.
Right, right.
Like give me some of that. Give me some of that skunk, man.
Spark in San Francisco has amazing store brand pineapple for only $35. Again, that's what that's a street price.
So all we have to do is make a pretty label and call it Aurora Borealis, and I mean it can be terrible weed, and these idiotic Californians will buy $450 an ounce. Dude, we need to do this.
$65 eighth of cookies with no trademark aroma, sitting next to $40 indoor high-grade bud with an off-trend name like Orange Sickle, so loud it lumps out of the jar and slaps you in the face. Traditionally, the look, smell, taste, or effect of mid-grade cannabis might seem suboptimal. Mids might consist of small, airy, popcorny buds instead of large, dense, attractive nugs. And mids can be too dry or too brown due to its age or because of how the cannabis was harvested or stored. They're often grown outdoors or under cheap coverings called hoop houses. And they can taste a bit grassy, owing to a bad cure, and they can be a bit harsh, owing to leftover nutrients in the flowers.
Confession, I've never gotten involved with medical or recreational weed at a dispensary.
Yeah.
So the idea of this connoisseurship about marijuana, it seems extremely silly to me.
It's not. it's
like,
not.
Are you seriously going to smoke that weed that is 2 shades too brown
and light? Says
come on.
Says here, I mean,
it's
basically they're getting it's not even mid-grade. It's high grade that wasn't grown very well. So they've cut the price and they're calling it.
So it's like
mids.
how Marlboro sweeps up the tobacco on the floors and puts it in Marlboro Blacks. But that's the name of the brand of cigarettes.
I thought that was GPCs. All right, we'll be back next week. We're going to have Melania Rabinik in with us to discuss her book on Rabia al-Basri when we get back next week. So join us next Monday. But don't go anywhere right now, though, because we've got Free Talk Live coming up next.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell, they send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
You're 6 minutes away from a live episode of Free Talk Live, brought to you by Freekeen.com. Listen live at freetalklive.com.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, September 14th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.20 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,203 per ounce. Zen is trading at $16, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,460. Antiwar.com reports Turkish officials announced Wednesday that they sent hundreds of additional special forces, along with tanks, armored vehicles, and other equipment, across the border into Syria's Idlib province. They are intended to reinforce Turkish military posts in northern Syria. Turkish officials say that the intention is to deter the Syrian military from launching an offensive against the Idlib province, which is under control of various rebel factions, the largest of which is Al-Qaeda's Nusra Front. Turkey is aligned with some of these fighters in supporting regime change in Syria. In addition to boosting their direct military presence in Idlib, Turkey has also sent a large amount of additional weapons and ammunition for rebels to use. Rebel sources say they have been told Turkey will